For me, the thing that's the most important is how many people's lives can you impact? And how big can that impact be? I can think of many, many teachers through my elementary school years that nurtured me, taught me things, let me do what I wanted in a lot of cases. In particular, like my high school calculus teacher. What happened was I discovered computers at the end of my junior year in high school. And then I realized I was going to be out of school for the entire summer with no access to computers, and that was not acceptable. So my solution was to go to Colorado School of Mines and take a computer course so I could use the computer, but to do that I had to take a calculus course. So by the time I got back to high school, I was taking high school calculus and I'd already had college level calculus. So that teacher let me spend most of my time using the computer, so it was like a win-win for me. I think the things that most shaped me were, one, getting fired. When I was fired from my job, that was the thing that made me start my company Quark, which is the thing that let me get the money that I now use to give away. And then the other was the passage of Amendment 2 in Colorado, which made me stop thinking about working all the time and thinking about how to give back to the community. Amendment 2 was an attempt to not only repeal all laws that protected gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people, but it also prevented anyone from enacting laws in the future. So in other words, it took a segment of society and said, no matter what you do, you cannot petition to be treated the same. And so that was thrown out by the Supreme Court, obviously, but it was a kind of scary time. The Gay and Lesbian Fund for Colorado was started basically because I think I heard a statistic right after Amendment 2 passed that only 5% of people thought they knew someone who was gay or lesbian. And I went, well, that's stupid, that's not true. And so, I mean, it's not that I can go around door to door and shake everybody's hand and become their friend, but the one thing I can do is I can show that the gay and lesbian community is involved in other things in the community that people care about. And so it started principally by funding public radio and public television, and it moved on to funding arts and to funding children's vaccinations and just any of a variety of different things that were good for the community of Colorado as a whole. I think the fact that we've accelerated change here is really cool. And so that is something I'm actually proud of. And but it's not done. There's still a lot of things to do. And so we just have to make sure that we keep pressing on it and making sure that we don't slip back. I don't think many people work quite the way I do. So because I don't have any severe territoriality or need for recognition, I'm perfectly happy to share that. And so what happens is when I'm doing something, I always look for the things that I'm good at and that I like. So it has to be both of those, because there are things I'm good at that I really don't like. But things that I'm good at that I like, and then I find somebody with a complementary skill set and then try to make them my partner. And it's been true in my life. It's what my husband does for me. And it's been true in many, many cases. There's always someone there to do the things I'm not so good at. I started snowboarding when I turned 40, and that was as much as anything an attempt to prove that I wasn't getting old, that I could do new things. Snowboarding it's just freeing, it's wonderful. You can do bumps and steeps and trees, and that's kind of what I like to do. It's a challenge, and it actually lets me put my mind on hold. My mind becomes very quiet when I'm snowboarding. I'm just focused on the moment. And that's something that I don't do a lot in my life. My mind is almost always working. So snowboarding is that kind of escape for me. I think if you want to make a profound change, the thing to remember is that no change happens at once. That every profound change has stages, it has pieces. And so if you try to go for the whole thing all at one time, you might be successful, it's unlikely. And I don't want to just fight the good fight and lose and say, but I fought the good fight. I want to win. And so when I pick targets, they're always targets that we can win, maybe not immediately, but over some fairly short period of time. Now, I'd have no interest in a 5-year target. 5 years is a very long time. I want something that we can work on, that we can change in 12 months, 18 months, maybe 24 months. But when we're done, we will have changed the lives of a lot of people.